I said I'd explain to you why we balance chemical equations. Every chemical equation has to be balanced because what it tells us is that the same amount of atoms are going to be on this side of the equation as there are on this side of the equation, meaning the reactants and products will have the same number of atoms. Same number of atoms on both sides. There won't be any more carbon over on the left as there are on the right. They'll be the same. So first we have to count what our atoms are, what we have first to figure out how to balance. So right now this is telling me there's only one carbon atom here. It's telling me there's 2 oxygen atoms. It's telling me there's 2 hydrogen. And it's telling me that there's 1 oxygen. Now, because I have oxygen here and I have oxygen here, it amounts to 3 oxygens on the reactant side, 1 carbon on the reactant side, and 2 hydrogen on the reactant side. Now in our case for photosynthesis, our energy, our yield, is going to be sunlight. So once we have the sunlight and we have the balanced chemical equation and the reactants in place, then the products can take place. Then the products happen by themselves. So then on this side I have carbon. I have 6 of them. Right here's my 6. I have 12 hydrogen. I have 6 oxygen. And then I have 2 oxygen. Okay, again I have oxygen here and oxygen here. You'll add all these together. What's on the reactant side and what's on the product side has to stay on those sides, but you're trying to balance them like a seesaw. So I look at how many carbons I have. I have 1 over here and I have 6 over here. So I know I'm going to need to put something somewhere. You cannot change these little these sub numbers here. These are subscript numbers. You can't change that because that tells you what you have. If I have O2, that tells me I have oxygen. If I put another value here, I no longer have oxygen, so the only thing I can change is the coefficient. A coefficient can go in front of any of these areas here before you start the compound or the molecule. You cannot divide up. You can't split up carbon dioxide, you can't split up water, you can't split up sugar, and you can't split up oxygen. So those have to stay together. So the only places you can put values are in the coefficients place. So we know we need 6 carbon. So I'm going to put a 6 here. So 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, well now my carbon's balanced. Now what can I do? I know I have 12 hydrogen over here. I don't have 12 hydrogen here, but if I put a 6 here, I'm going to go ahead and switch this to 6. That would give me, or I'm sorry, not 6, 12. Because 6 times 2 is 12. I have 12 hydrogen now. Okay, check, 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 check. Well, how about my oxygens? I have 2, 3 oxygens, 6, 7, 8 oxygens. Well, let's see here. Where can I make this work? Well, we forgot to move these, so it's 6 times 2 is 12. We did 6 times 1, which is 6, because this coefficient applies to all of this. This coefficient applies to all of this. This coefficient applies to all of this, and whatever we put there applies to all of this. So right now we have 18 oxygens that we're trying to find. We have 6, 7, 8 of them. If I put a 6 here, that gives me 12. And 6 plus 12 is 18 oxygens. We have 6, 6, 1, 6. So this is a balanced chemical equation. What this says is the reactants, the atoms in the reactants, they're the same amount of atoms in the product. If you don't have that, you do not have a balanced equation, and that reaction would never take place because of the law of conservation of energy. You can't create nor destroy, you can only rearrange it. So hopefully that helps you understand that. You're not expected to know how to do that. I was just trying to give you a heads up of how it works so that you can understand. But you should have had a little bit of this last year. Maybe this just rang your bell and reminded you of how to do that. So let's go on, and that's it for that video. We'll move on.